Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be speaking today at the Respect Graduate School. Education today about Islam and Islamic studies has never been more important. Islam is the second largest of the world's religions, with some 1.8 billion Muslims. 55 predominantly Muslim countries stretch from North Africa to Southeast Asia. Islam is also the second or third largest religion in Europe and America. And yet, today, Islamophobia, anti-Islam and anti-Muslim attitudes that result in discrimination, hate speech, and at times violence exist in America and Europe. Also, globally, we see Islamophobia in China's persecution and imprisonment of more than 1 million Muslim Uyghurs. In Myanmar, the former Burma, where Rohingya Muslims had their homes and villages destroyed, and more than 900,000 have fled to Bangladesh. And we also see it, sadly, in India and Kashmir today. But what about Islamic studies in America? The fact is, Islamic studies in America in the 1960s and 70s was invisible. Islam was invisible in America. Although there were Muslims here, they were being identified more as whether they were Egyptian or Lebanese, but not particularly their religion. And there were very few mosques. I grew up in cosmopolitan New York and never was aware of or saw a mosque. A book that was written at that time on religion in America, a very prominent book, was titled Religion in America, Protestant, Catholic, and Jew. And that was to describe the religions that existed in America. And particularly, for the first time, Catholics were included because they were now recognized as a significant number. Islam was virtually invisible in the US, in education, in our schools, colleges, and universities. It was invisible in the training of government officials, military, and diplomats. It was invisible in professional organizations like the American Academy of Religion, which was the and is the academy covering the world religions. And yet Islam wasn't there. The Middle East Studies Association, looking at much of the Middle East and North Africa. Islam was virtually invisible, certainly in terms of looking at it as a religion and as a contemporary significant presence. It might be part of way back when in history, but there was felt no need to take a look at Islam in modern state and society. When I decided to major in Islamic studies, the comments I got were things like, "You'll never get a job." In 1971 and 72, it proved to be correct. There were no jobs in Islamic studies. I was hired to teach world religions. Why? Because in my early youth, I had been in a monastery. I had then gotten a degree in Catholic theology at St. John's University and taught Catholic theology at Rosemont College in Pennsylvania. But when I was hired at Holy Cross, it was to teach world religions. I could do Catholicism and Christianity. I could do Islam, which I had majored in. I also had minored in Hinduism and Zen Buddhism. There was very little interest, though, in actual courses on Islam. I mostly taught world religions and introduced students to Buddhism and Hinduism. There was no interest in terms of publishing books, no speaking engagements, no consulting. The turning point came with the Iranian Revolution. This is when America really engaged Islam for the first time in any significant sense, but only engaged a very small aspect of what was going on in the Muslim world and about the religion of Islam, because we saw it through the lens of the Iranian Revolution, the overthrow of the Shah, the taking of American hostages, our diplomats being held hostage, and the major media coverage of demonstrations in Tehran with chants of death to America. The Iranian Revolution and global media put Islam on the map. There was an explosion of interest, information, and opportunities. the US government and other governments, education, media, publication of books and articles, consulting, all of this now occurred. And so I went from no career to a career. The second big event for many Americans in terms of their engagement with Islam were the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon, and subsequent attacks by Al Qaeda in other parts of the world. However, President George W. Bush, to his credit, having called for a global war on terrorism, made it very clear in a public speech taken at a major mosque in Washington that was broadcast around the world that this was not about Islam and not about the vast majority of Muslims, but a global war against terrorists. And of course, we know more recently, we've read about ISIS. All of the above actions by a dangerous and deadly minority of extremists who hijack their religion to legitimate and recruit followers created a distorted vision of the religion of Islam itself and of the faith of the vast majority of Muslims. This, of course, was compounded by the fact that the source for American information is media. Major media, mass media, TV, radio, but also social media. But remember, media, particularly mass media, the line has always been, if it bleeds, it leads. It's the crises that capture attention. And so if we take a look, for example, at major media, a study of major media done between 2001 and 2011, looking at 975,000 pieces of American and European media, 975,000 pieces, found that in 2001, in all of that media, you found 2% coverage of Islam and Muslims in terms of extremism. However, when it came to coverage of the vast majority of Muslims, the vast majority of Muslim countries, the vast majority of the peoples of Islam, only 0.1%. Now, by 2011, the 2% coverage of extremism moved up to 25%. But again, the vast majority remained at 0.1%. By 2015, the situation got worse. A study of mass media, for example, in the US, Germany, and the UK, found that 9 out of 10 stories focused on extremism. In the current climate today, education regarding Islam and Muslims is very critical. Islamic studies, the study of Islam and Muslims, has never been more important. And I'm happy to see that Respect has developed a program in Islamic studies. It's important to look at the distinction between the faith of Islam and the beliefs and lives of the vast majority of Muslims and its hijacking by Muslim extremists and terrorists. It's important to know something about Islam itself, Islamic history, civilization, and Muslim-Christian relations. Who are Muslims? Where are they? What do they believe? And how do they act? The Respect Graduate School of Islamic Studies is a new and pioneering program that makes its Islamic studies and courses on Islam, the Quran, Islamic history, interreligious dialogue, and related programs accessible and affordable on the internet. And I think that that's important. I'm delighted that this program is, relatively speaking, so affordable. And it will allow one to understand one of the major world religions and civilizations and the faith of our Muslim fellow citizens and our Muslim neighbors. Thank you.